swag of a prize fighter. The antithesis of a firefighter. Arsonist, I'm a fire rider. Instant flame like a firelighter. So special with shows, I live out my flows. Can't walk in my shoes, can't purchase my clothes. Ice in my veins, but I never froze. Picture perfect, but I never pose. As a juvenile, I knew I bounced back. Got rated, had a plan to get my ounce back. Use cheese as bait, that's a mousetrap. Let me to the right person to pounce at. They selling dreams, I'm pulling receipts. Full force, we can't be beat. Got a dirty mouth, but the flow so neat. Keep your 2 cents, talk is cheap.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros, the comments Dillian Whyte made about Eddie Hearn protecting Anthony Joshua. I can already feel G saying like, yeah, this is right. This is correct. All right, so let's look at what Dillian Whyte had to say. So this is an interview that Dillian Whyte gave to The Sun. I like to joke around and say it's the most reliable newspaper, or the reliable source in England. I know it's not. That's part of the joke, everyone. So just relax. All right. White whined the usual BS. Dillian Whyte fuming grudge rematch against Anthony Joshua axed as Franklin gets shot. So that's Wally Downs. And so let's take a look at the article. The article says Dillian Whyte is raging that his Anthony Joshua showdown has been axed for an April 1st battle of the fools. Then they put that in quotes because that's what he said. All right, so Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn built Whyte's November win over Jermaine Franklin as a semifinal for the chance to meet his man. And by his man, they made Anthony Joshua. To meet his man, AJ. Yeah, to meet his man. All right, to meet his man. AJ got his revenge in a 2015 British title barn burner after Whyte's amateur victory 6 years before. So when Whyte beat Franklin with new trainer Buddy McGurk, the trilogy fight was expected to be signed and sealed. But Joshua is now set to face Franklin on April 1st on a pricey DAZN pay-per-view, and Whyte believes fans deserve better. Whyte told Sun Sport, I am all right, but facing the usual BS. I just want to make some fights, but it's effing frustrating. Everyone was told, all the boxing fans, the winner of me and Franklin fights AJ. So this is effed up thing. I would have been better off losing the Franklin fight and getting the AJ fight. He continued, I know DAZN need content for their subscribers, but why choose to fight a low-profile American coming off a loss instead of having a massive British tear-up? It's no surprise to me that they have chosen April 1st for the Battle of the Fools. That's what Dillian Whyte said. All right. Dillian Whyte also went on to state, I faced Franklin, the most dangerous, undefeated version of him, and beat him. Eddie was promising him many millions to fight AJ if he beat me. It's protecting AJ because they all know if he loses again, he will probably jack it in, and a lot of people will be left with a limp in their hands. All right, so that's what Dillian Whyte had to say. I'm going to turn it over to you, Conspiracy G. What's your reaction to... hold on, man. Before I almost turn it over to you prematurely. Speaking of limp. All right. Hold on. Let me pull up Eddie Hearn's reaction to what Dillian Whyte had to say. And then I'll turn it over to you, Conspiracy G. All right, so this is what Eddie Hearn had to say about all that. All right, so this appears courtesy of ID Boxing. Subscribe to ID Boxing for some dope boxing content.
You might be excited, but Dillian Whyte isn't. He's had a few comments around the Joshua Franklin fight being announced. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I mean, I feel that Franklin gave Dillian Whyte a tremendous fight, and it was a very, very competitive, close fight. So I don't see why it's a bad fight for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has no problem fighting Dillian Whyte. I think it's a stadium fight. We can do that fight next. AJ's teamed up with a new trainer after losing 2 on the bounce against the pound-for-pound #1. It's a very good fight, competitive fight. And I guess the comparisons will be, let's see how Anthony Joshua does against Jermaine Franklin versus how Dillian Whyte did against Jermaine Franklin, and we'll see.
Dillian's thoughts were already that when he fought Franklin, he saw that as a semi-final eliminator almost, and if he beat him, he was going to get AJ next. There's a level of disappointment on his behalf. Was that always the case, or was it ever the case?
Not at all. I mean, we've always planned for that fight for the summer. Dillian Whyte was coming off a defeat he boxed Jermaine Franklin. AJ's coming off 2 defeats. He's boxing Jermaine Franklin. It was a very good fight between Dillian Whyte and Jermaine Franklin, and we'll see how AJ compares.
A couple of squeeze, Justice Unit, and sticking with heavyweight.
All right. So that's Eddie Hearn's comment. I'll turn over to you, G. What's your reaction?
And I agree 1,000% with Dillian Whyte. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Eddie, I'm confident that's what they promised Dillian. Like, I believe that 1,000%, you know, and Dillian did what he had to do, and now Eddie's like, yo, hold on, man, AJ's a cash cow, bro. You can't be beating on our dude like that, man. We haven't milked him enough, you know, like the milk is still the cow's still producing the milk, you know what I mean? So yeah, you got to sit.
You can't make ground beef just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. It's still producing milk. You know what I mean? So Eddie, Eddie's just being Eddie, man. You know, devilish Hearn, man. I'm telling you, he's just trying to. I'm not mad at Eddie. If I was Eddie, I'd do the same thing. To be honest, because I can't have AJ take another L. So if I had the option of picking AJ versus Dillian or AJ versus Franklin, I'm picking Franklin. Even if people don't want to see it, it's cool. I'd rather have AJ have small numbers for this fight, but win his confidence back by winning than to fight Dillian. Even if he wins the Dillian fight, let's just say it's a tough fight. That might even damage AJ's psyche even more. There's a big risk with this. And what if Dillian knocks out AJ? What if AJ doesn't have the will to get back up? There's a lot of things that are playing through Eddie Hearn and DAZN's mind. Matchroom's yo, we can't afford this right now, And so I'm not mad at Eddie Hearn for the decision he made. I'm just I just don't want to see the fight, But I believe 1,000% that Dillian's telling the truth. Dillian was promised AJ by beating Franklin. He beat Franklin, and now they're giving Franklin to AJ. That's but I'm pretty sure Dillian understands this is a business, and hey, it is what it is. We got investors out here, bro. So it's just unfortunate for Dillian, and this is just another chapter of the poor Dillian book. But it is what it is. Life goes on.
All right, Trill Dollar Bill.
Poor Dillian. I thought I retired that.
It's back.
It's back.
It's back.
That chapter has returned, Trill.
Mm-hmm. Poor Dillian too.
This is like chapter 12 at this point.
It's the movie is part 2. Look, I'm not mad at Eddie. I think a couple of picks was just wrong. I just wish it was a different pick other than Jermaine Franklin. But I get where he's going, and I get exactly what G is saying. You know what I'm saying? Eddie trying to milk the cow. Cow being AJ. Let's put him in there with some fights that he can win. Get this money back before we put him in there with tough fights. I don't think Eddie's protecting him from Dillian Whyte, though. I think Dillian Whyte is fool.
I'm telling you,
I'm still thinking that he's fool, man.
They losing faith in AJ, bro.
It's out, man. The tape is out. You know what I'm saying? Forget you let him use.
Bro, he's blocking uppercuts like this.
It's done for him. It's already
he's really blocking uppercuts like this.
AJ gonna come out the whole fight and just throw uppercuts.
This is what it comes down to.
I got a lot of faith in AJ, bro. AJ's a different fighter now. Eddie's getting nervous. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Eddie's getting nervous.
Nobody is scared of Dillian. The blueprint is out on Dillian.
So answer me this. So then why isn't Eddie making that fight happen right now?
Yo, the blueprint, Trill, the blueprint, the leopard print, anything is out on Dillian right now.
Think about it. Why isn't Eddie being a man of his word right now?
You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't. He do what he want to do.
Let me ask you a question, G. You watched Dillian Whyte versus Jermaine Franklin?
Yeah, of course.
How'd you score it?
I can't remember. Hold on. I'm gonna check my scorecard.
Okay, you can do that.
That was a close fight. I remember that, but I'm home. I'm gonna tell you in a second. You know what I mean? But keep talking. Go ahead.
But you can get it back. I just want to know what G scored. Franklin and White.
Nah, what I was saying, Dillian Whyte, man, listen, you just gotta wait your turn.
All right, for the record, I scored it 115, 114. Dillian Whyte for 115. You know what I'm saying? I gave it to Dillian by 1 point.
1 point.
You know what I mean? It was a close fight. You know what I'm saying? What?
Look, I think Dillian is
Oh,
really
that. You know what I'm saying?
faded. Dillian's fading. And this is what it is with Dillian. And I'm not mad at Dillian, and I'm not mad at Eddie. Eddie's doing business, and Dillian wants one last payday.
But there's nothing wrong with a last payday.
Nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? He knows it. You know, he wants one last payday. Who's on? Anthony Joshua. But listen, you gotta wait. After this Franklin fight, maybe you'll get your chance to get knocked out for some money.
Yo, is Eddie Hearn protecting Anthony Joshua? Yes. Is he protecting him from Dillian Whyte? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Man, I seen Dillian Whyte get knocked out by Anthony Joshua already. So how is he protecting you from the dude who already knocked you out? Right? Like, think about it. Joshua already knocked you out. Joshua the first one to knock you out. After Joshua knocked you out, Povetkin knocked you out. After Povetkin knocked you out, Tyson Fury knocked you out. I seen Oscar Rivas knock you down. I seen Joseph Parker knock you down. Who like, delusion's crazy because delusion's a mud.
So then answer me this. Either Eddie was lying to Dillian from Jump Street, or Eddie, something happened where Eddie
wasn't lying.
Fight.
Eddie wasn't lying. See, I hate the fact that I'm in position to defend Eddie right now, but okay, let's keep it a buck. Eddie wasn't lying. Eddie thought Dillian was going to spark out Jermaine Franklin, which was going to lead to buzz that, oh, can Dillian Whyte take out a vulnerable Anthony Joshua? And that was going to be the selling point. Mm-hmm. But when Dillian was only good enough to beat Jermaine Franklin by 1 point on G scorecard and actually lost to Jermaine Franklin on my scorecard, Eddie was like, hell, why don't I just put Jermaine Franklin in there with Joshua? Because it will do two things. It will give Joshua a different opponent that wouldn't be a rematch. It would be a guy from America who already came to the UK and fought Dillian Whyte. And despite what Dillian Whyte wants to say, a guy who I already beat, you barely beat him because G just checked the scorecard and you barely beat him on G scorecard. You didn't beat him on my scorecard. And there's a bunch of people, millions of people in the US who feel the same way and millions of people in the UK that feel the same way. If the people in the UK think you won, they think you barely won. If the people in the UK think there are people in the UK who think you lost. So that's what you actually made Jermaine Franklin formidable, Dillian, by not knocking him out. That's what you're missing. So prior to your performance, they were promising you the Anthony Joshua fight because they thought you were going to spark out Jermaine Franklin. But when you failed to do it, they were like, this is the perfect opportunity to rebuild AJ. Put him in there. And listen to what Eddie Hearn said. Read between the lines. He said Dillian Whyte lost, and what do? We put him in there with Jermaine Franklin. Now AJ just lost twice, so we're gonna put him in there with Jermaine Franklin, and then we can compare their performances. That's what he said. Literally, this is a purpose of comparison. So my problem with this isn't the fact that they're making Anthony Joshua fight Jermaine Franklin. Not making Anthony Joshua fight someone other than Dillian. My problem is that it is Jermaine Franklin. So I actually have an issue with the fact that it's Jermaine Franklin because it's a lose-lose situation for Anthony Joshua. Because if AJ sparks him out, no one's going to want to see him fight Dillian because they're going to be like, he already knocked out Dillian and he already just knocked out the guy Dillian couldn't knock out. So why do we want to see him fight Dillian? We already know he's better than Dillian. At this point, we're just throwing him in there with Dillian to milk the cow, like you said. Right? But if he goes the distance with him and he wins, people are going to be like, it's not the same AJ because AJ normally would have knocked out a caliber of this guy. So it's a lose-lose for him. And if he loses to the guy, no one's going to be like, well, he lost to a good opponent. They're going to be like, yo, you lost to a guy who Dillian just beat. You just lost to Usyk twice. You can't beat Fury. You can't beat Wilder. So lose for him. That's my issue with this fight. But let's get to the protection. They're not protecting him from Dillian. I would actually, if I was AJ and I was AJ's handlers, I would want him to fight Dillian over Jermaine Franklin because I know he's going to knock out Dillian at some point. Listen, listen, I'm telling you, that is going to happen. That is going to happen.
There has to be a reason why.
Death taxes Anthony Joshua knocks out Dillian Whyte. I'm telling you.
Automatic.
That's it.
Automatic.
3 things that are certain.
Yeah.
Death taxes Anthony Joshua knocks out Dillian Whyte. That's all I know. I'm telling you, it's just straight like that. For real. Dillian, come on, G. Like
hey, just for the record, I ain't
what's happened? IG. I'm gonna prove
no,
it to you.
No. I agree. You know me. I'm not backing no.
No, I'm gonna prove it to you. No, G. Watch. I'm gonna prove it to you with logic. Because this is what I'm gonna prove to you with logic. Every good fighter Dillian has been in the ring with has either dropped him or knocked him out.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Every good fighter. From Anthony Joshua already beat him. Alexander Povetkin, Tyson Fury, Joseph Parker, Oscar Rivas. And Derek Chisora was whooping his behind until he got knocked out in the 11th round in the rematch. Bro, he's not that dude. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know what goes on in his mind, but they're not protecting Anthony Joshua from him. They're protecting Anthony Joshua from Deontay Wilder. They're protecting Anthony Joshua from a rematch, a trilogy with Andy Ruiz. They're protecting Anthony Joshua from Tyson Fury. And this is where I get at the people who I say you're being hypocrites. When they wanted to build Wilder's confidence to go in the ring and fight Anthony Joshua, y'all said, make the fight now. He can't fight now. So now that Wilder got the confidence and Anthony Joshua's confidence is shot, y'all are like, well, what's wrong with him fighting Jermaine Franklin? You weren't saying that when Wilder was fighting Luis Ortiz a second time. What were we calling it? The rematch for no reason. I know me. I was all over it. This is the rematch nobody asked for. You remember that, G, right?
I don't remember nothing. You know what I'm saying?
You don't remember when Anthony Joshua was fighting
I'm just talking trash. Yeah.
Well, what I say? It was the rematch for no reason. Yeah. Why? Because I wanted to see him fight Anthony Joshua. When Deontay Wilder fought Bermain Stavern for the second time, what did I say? It was a rematch for no reason. I said Wilder's the king of the pointless rematches. Remember I said that, G, or you don't remember?
Don't remember.
Well, I said that. Because I was being ejected.
I don't recall.
Okay, that's fine. It's out there. The tape is out there. I said that because I was being objective. What is the point in a Dillian Whyte rematch? It's just as pointless as Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. It's just as pointless as Wilder versus Bermain Stavern. And this is what I'm getting at. It's the same, although y'all try to make it seem like it's different. You just okay with it now because you have doubts in Anthony Joshua's ability to beat Deontay Wilder. And so does Eddie Hearn. And that's why the table is different. That's why it's okay to rebuild now. I'm losing a lot of money on this subscription. That's why it's okay to do pay-per-views now. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy. You got just mad. Remember, I've been on the same side the whole time. I've been keeping the same logic the whole time. I haven't changed or switched up once. I call a spade a spade. And I am okay with rebuilding. I was okay with Wilder doing what he was doing. I just didn't like his fans acting like he was beating top tier competition. That's it. Anthony Joshua can beat Jermaine Franklin if that's the guy they choose, but just remember that's mediocre competition. And don't come acting like if Joshua knocks out Jermaine Franklin, like he'll beat Fury. He needs to prove it. The same way I was saying it about Deontay Wilder. And now I feel like I'm about to sound like G. And you know I love me some Anthony Joshua. I love Anthony Joshua. To me, Anthony Joshua solidified already. Anthony Joshua, to me, he could take the Wilder fight, win or lose, if he wanted to. But he could also take a fight in between if he wanted to. And I don't have any issues with that. But don't make it seem like Eddie Hearn isn't protecting him right now. That statement is true, G. Protecting him from Dillian Whyte, that's cap.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Why didn't Eddie just make AJ versus Zayn? To me, isn't Zayn signed to the Zone?
Well, he was. I don't know if he's still with the Zone.
Oh, because I'm like, yo, the dude is like a heavyweight. He, Chinese heavyweight. That's huge numbers. AJ could get a huge bag over there. Like, and that fight seems easy for AJ. What's going on with Eddie, man? I don't.
You know what? I don't know because this fight's on BT Sport. Hold on, let me pull it up for you real quick. Perhaps he left Eddie Hearn because now that's something to look into. I just pulled up the announcement from Joe Joyce. You see, this is Joe Joyce account.
Oh, that's not even on the Zone.
And you see it's on BT Sport. And there's no the Zone anywhere on the flyer.
They better leave Joe Joyce alone.
Hey, man.
Hey, better Zayn than AJ. I know that.
So, I mean, that could be the reason why he didn't put him in there with Zayn. So, anyways, I'll wrap up by saying this. Eddie Hearn is protecting Anthony Joshua, but not from no darn Dillian Whyte.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You know you rocking with. It's the Boxing Bros.